Enough to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You'll never know till it's over. So pretty it hurts. Just beware of the thorns.
Alright, hello YouTube. Sorry about the live the other night. Hopefully tonight's will be better, but by the time you see this it'll be tomorrow. Anyway, somebody on Quora asked me if I met anybody in prison from Germany, and no, I didn't. Not that I know of. The closest I got was somebody from Austria, and but I met other people from Ireland and different places. But today I want to talk about ex-cons and what they go through when they get out. So if you're new, subscribe, hit that like, share, and comment, because I really like hearing from you guys. The thing is, when you go to prison for the first time and you're thinking of, you're getting close to getting out, you're not thinking about the things you go through. How you're feeling about different things, I've had a few people tell me while I was in prison, you're going to still think like a prisoner and stuff like that, but it didn't really hit me until I got out. And when I got out, I found out I don't like sitting in, I don't like being in crowded areas, and real crowded areas makes me nervous. A lot of times when all of us are at a store and it's real crowded, I'll go back out to the vehicle just because I don't want to be around people. In restaurants, I sit with my back to the wall. That's the way I prefer, so I can see everybody. I'm always, especially with men, I'm always looking at them, seeing if they might be carrying something, this guy's got a gun, this guy's got a knife, whatever. And you can tell by, a lot of times, by the way somebody's walking if they got something on them. A lot of times, I've heard some ex-cons say that they've had nightmares and bad dreams of going back to prison. A lot of times I've had ex-cons tell me, or I've heard others talking, that they have bad dreams, nightmares and stuff. I've never really had that. But I have had like a couple flashbacks a couple times, like if I see a lot of people standing in a line, I think I've had it seemed like a canteen line to me or something, or somebody standing in line, or people standing in line for chow, because a lot of times, a lot of people going to chow, it's already outside, where the line is. And I've had, this is only with large restaurants, it seems like they've turned into chow halls for a couple of seconds, but the one reason I'm talking about all this is because a lot of people have asked me, and some have told me I've helped them deal with loved ones that's coming home from prison, and so I'm doing this in the hopes that it will help people deal with their loved ones who are getting out. I remember, some of it's kind of funny though, because I remember when I first got out, instead of folding my pants, I would roll them up the same way with socks. All my clothes I kind of rolled up, nice and neat, put them in the dresser. and because I'd done that for a long time in prison, I remember before I left South Central Correctional Center, somebody tell me they brought this list to me, things that not to do when I get out. And it was like, don't bury your kitchen knives in the yard. Don't go to your neighbor with a stamp asking for a shot of coffee. Don't tell him you want a shot of coffee and you'll get him back store day. These kind of things. It was all jokes, but there's an element of truth to that. I never did any of those things, but there's certain prison habits that you have that you almost do. I remember one time getting into it with a guy. It was just an argument, but he had a knife on his waist, and I was feeling on my waistband for mine, my piece, and but it's not that serious, that was just an automatic reaction. There's been other times where I've walked out especially when I first got out. First 2 weeks I got out, I'd say, or maybe a week and a half. I'd feel my chest for my ID, because it used to be when you first went to prison, you could carry your ID in your pocket, but they started making you where you had to put them on these clips and have them attached to your shirt. Stupid. And if you ask me, I understand why they did it, but it was just, they didn't want them hanging off your shirt at the bottom. They wanted them up on your chest. But it's supposed to be on this side, so when I got out, I'd leave the house. First thing I'd do, I'd feel my chest, feel front ID, and if I didn't feel it, it's like panic for a second. I forgot my ID. But back to the store thing. One time, when I first got out, I was in Walmart, and this guy cut me off, and my first thought was he was trying to punk me out. He was disrespecting me. Well, come to find out, he didn't even realize he'd done that. People out here, a lot of people don't pay attention to their surroundings. Another thing I've noticed is that many times I can spot an ex-con. It's just the way they walk, the way they behave. It's not always tattoos. Of course, tattoos is a good giveaway, but it's just they got a certain behavior to it. I remember me and my niece walking down this aisle. This guy with his woman was walking towards us. I don't know if it was his girlfriend or his wife or who it was, but I told her, I said, he's an ex-con, and she goes, you can't tell that by looking at him. I said, I think he is. Anyway, as he's passing us, he tells his woman, he goes, that dude's been in prison. Sorry about that. Kids want to run around. So that just, you just spot one another, able to see one another. But there's been a couple times where there's been a person in prison that I didn't know until they told me. In fact, I never would have thought they'd been in prison. And he said that was the one guy told me is because that he spent a lot of time trying to get rid of all those prison habits and mentality and walks and behaviors and stuff and the talk. I talked to friend of mine I was in good time, but he came by to see me, and I'd gotten rid of a lot of the prison talk, but it still comes up, you know. But I noticed when we got to talking, a lot of the prison lingo started coming back. It's strange, but I still once in a while will say "chow" for a meal. You know, it's not as much as it used to be. But when I first got out, I'd say "chow time." You know, is chow done? Or, you know, is it about chow time? I'd say things like that. And these are things that they're not bad things, really, but it's just things that really ex-cons may laugh about, you know, when they say or do them, but really they don't. They're trying to get rid of that. I think most of us are. But it's just being. I still can't get rid of the being in crowded areas, and I got to sit with my back to the wall in restaurants, and it's just the one thing that never leaves. This is a strange thing to me. I haven't figured this one out. My first 5 years were at the walls, and the next 24 years was in other prisons. The whole time I was in these other prisons, I never even hardly thought about the walls unless somebody brought it up in a conversation or I seen somebody I knew from the walls or something like that. It didn't bother me. I get out, and that godforsaken place will not leave my mind. I don't understand. I mean, it's been over 30 years, and all of a sudden it's like it's coming back. But and it's not like the other ones weren't bad. They was bad too. They just weren't as bad. So you know, I've done a few videos on the walls. I think 2 or 3, and one of the I keep getting every once in a while somebody telling me do a video on the walls or do a detailed video on the walls, and I tried, but I can't. You know, I can't get a very detailed. You know, I can tell you that stories here and there, and I can tell you it could go on for a long time. You know, I can tell you hour-long stories after stories after stories. I just can't deal with telling you guys all that amount of stories all at once, and I apologize for that. And you got to realize this wasn't just a violent prison. This was a very violent prison. As some of my subscribers who's been there will tell you, there's nothing good about that place. And I ain't talking about just the other prisoners. Some of the staff were bad. You know, the place just had a bad era about it. Aura about it. You know, it's just, and they still won't close it. They turned it into a museum, and they still got it going. You know, they're still making money off of it. Still making money off of the people who did time there, and the place, the history. And you know, I went back there myself to see my old cell and see the place a little bit. You know, and I don't have a problem with them using it. People going and seeing that place because they want to see it. You know, they want to see history, or they want to see a prison or whatever. Well, I do have a problem with is people sitting down in the chairs where people were executed and smiling and taking selfies. That's what bothers me. That's just poor taste, if you ask me. You know, me and Crystal went into the gas chamber, and she said, "Can I go in there?" You know, everybody was going in there, but she was asking me. I said, if you want to go in there, I said, go ahead. But I said, please don't sit in the seats and take pictures, smile, and take selfies for your smile. I said, it's poor taste, Crystal. In my opinion, it is. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the way I feel. Anyway, this is what I got for you guys today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Oh, I want to say hello to all my German viewers. I noticed my views from the Germans and even other countries, Canada and UK and other places, Australia is going up. I appreciate all you guys. I love you, and I hope you keep watching. Thank you. Goodbye.